The effect of scale on an individual can be utilized to simulate a sense of physical and psychological intimacy. This often paradoxical impact is sought after by many artists, contemporary and classical alike. I'll be talking about a small but diverse handful of these artists, Jenny Saville, Mark Rothko, and Ron Mueck, and exploring why scale claims such importance in the tone and message of their work, and reflecting on why it's so effectively and immediately influential on the viewer's perception of a piece. Jenny Saville paints large-scale, distorted depictions of the female and transgendered form. Her nude portraits carry with them feminist undertones that reflect her views on society and body image, inflating body parts to unflattering, surreally grotesque disproportion. When speaking about her work's intended message, Saville said she wanted to convey the psychological space body image inhabits. And it's this relationship between scale and symbolism of the individual psyche that makes her work so powerful. The large scale of the canvas itself and the exaggerated corpulence of a body that differs from societal norm has an oxymoronic effect of both creating a feeling of invitational intimacy with the all-encompassing size of the canvas and confrontational discomfort. Ironically, airbrushed advertisements that invoke these internalized issues of body image Saville's confronting use scale in the same way to create a false sense of intimacy between a model and a potential customer. Whether or not this was an intentional connection, it's still a comparison that proves intimate scale has transcended through other creative spheres with differing motivations. It's the effect of intimacy through scale that I want. Although large paintings are so often associated with grandeur, I want to make large paintings that are very intimate. I want the painting to almost surround your body when you stand very close to it. Rothko quotes an intimacy through scale. When you stand very close to his painting, as the colour hums and vibrates through you, it almost wraps around you. Though Saville references Rothko, he approached intimate scale in a different way. He speaks of scale. To paint a small picture is to place yourself outside your experience, to look upon an experience as a stereo-optician, or within a reducing glass. However, you paint the larger picture, you are in it. Much like Saville's subjects make a connection with the viewer, the scale of Rothko's abstract expressionist pieces create a personal connection with the creator, without incorporating the medium of self-portraiture. In the same way Rothko paints to achieve an emotional response to colour, he maximizes the scale of these colours to create a connection between his audience and his own emotional response to his work. This mindset is applicable to not only two-dimensional pieces, but of course installations, film, sculpture, etc. The politics of scale and intimacy are of course diverse, many artists not only acknowledging the relationship between intimacy in large pieces, but also small works. The hyper-realist sculptor Ron Mueck plays with both sides with his portraits, exploring often morbid concepts with an illusionistic quality. He conveys mortality, weakness, and our fear of such is uncomfortably real, somewhere beyond uncanny valley that usually isn't experienced, but close enough for us to stand in front of it, recognizable but wildly off scale with reality. This conflict between realism and surrealism creates both an intimate emotional involvement with the subject matter and a sense of alienation in response to its threatening size. Mueck, when speaking about his piece Dead Dad, says the miniaturized representation proved a more emotionally involving depiction of death by compelling the beholder to cradle the corpse visually, whereas his large-scale work makes a connection with the viewer via towering, enveloping verisimilitude. Wells, in her book Scale of Contemporary Sculpture, speaks of this effect within Mueck's work, but I think it actually summarizes my conclusion if you replace sculpture with art. Miniaturization and enlargement in sculpture or art, and their obvious relationship to reproduced, recognizable reality, can create this powerful tool of intimacy and alienation. The distortion of recognizable reality does alienate, but also draws us closer in its physical power to both overwhelm and underwhelm the viewer in its scale. The politics of scale is vast in its possibility. Artists can utilize it to invoke fear, confrontation, a sense of their self, and either through these elements of response or separately, intimacy.